Hey everybody, I am excited to share another project for Finnabare's creative team. I am going to be creating a pretty simple art journal page. It's There's not really much to it. Sometimes I think that it's good to have a little bit simpler project, and especially an art journal page, because you could just kind of just create from the heart and just kind of play around with different techniques and things like that. Before I get started, all of the supplies will be listed down below, so be sure to check out the supply list. And I would love to read your comments, so leave me a comment letting me know if you art journal or what your favorite type of project to create is. All right, so I am starting off with a page from Prima Marketing's mixed media book. I absolutely love this to art journal in. I can take the pages off of the rings, and it makes it a lot easier to create for me. I cannot create in a book. It's very hard for me to do. So I like that the mixed media book, I can take the pages off. I added some gesso with a Finnabare silicone spatula, and then I let that dry. And now I'm going to add some tape. This is just some masking tape. Uh, you can use washi tape or any sort of type of tape. In the end, it gets all covered up, but I needed a starting point. For me, that's okay. I don't mind when things get covered up. I feel it adds to my creative process. And when I think too hard about, oh, is this going to be covered up? Oh, you know, where I put things sometimes, especially different types of texture and things that will go in the background of a project, I feel it takes away from my creative process, and then I get too stressed out and then I just can't create. So I just do what I feel. If it gets covered up, to me, it's fine. It's just a little bit of masking tape. It's not, anything that is super expensive or anything like that. So I am now adding some texture with some paper paste and a Finnabare stencil. And like I said, all of the supplies will be listed down below, so be sure to check them out. If you are wondering where to purchase them or what a specific product is and the name. So I added some in the lower right hand corner and then the upper left hand corner. And now I am smoothing out the edges. I don't really like the harsh lines. So what I like to do is just take the spatula and just kind of smooth out most of the edges so the paste kind of blends in with the paper. And then to me, it just makes everything flow a little bit better together. All right, so now I am going to add some color. I am starting off with Manor Blue Impasto paint. This is the acrylic paint from Finnabare. And I watered it down, and now I am just adding it to this page here. And this is the most time consuming part of this project. I played around with a couple different colors, and then in the end I ended up using black, but you'll see that in a little bit. So what I like to do is I add a little bit with a paintbrush, and then I add a little bit of water, and then I will kind of tip it side to side and back and forth so that the color can flow wherever it wants to, just so that it has more of an organic look. And I do put on some of the impasto paint a little bit heavy and then some a little bit thinner, just to get a variation of color and look and interest to this page here, because I knew it was going to be pretty simple. I didn't want to do too much to it. I just wanted a little bit of texture, color, and then a sticker photo at the end. All right, so here's where I am kind of playing around with a little bit different color. This is Color Bloom Spray from Prima. It is Dragonfly Blue. In the end, I don't like it, but I kept it in here just so that you guys can see. Um, because these two colors are pretty similar, it was easy to kind of cover up in the end. Um, but I saved it. So if you have this type of issue, if you add a color that you don't necessarily like, um, more so with color bloom sprays or any sprays or mediums that are water based, you just add a ton of water to it and then it basically just runs right off the page, especially if you use gesso at the beginning. That helps with that as well. But the impasto paint, because it's acrylic paint, it won't come up as easily. All right, so I am continuing to add this color, and then I decide after it's dry that I don't like it, and then you're going to see me, I think, add a little bit more Manor Blue so that, oh nope, you don't see that. I added a little bit more Manor Blue, the impasto paint, so that it kind of tones that dragonfly blue a little bit. Now I am adding some black acrylic paint. These are the fluid acrylic paints from Finnabair. I absolutely love these. They go so far. A little bit goes a long way, and I love the colors and the vibrancy to them. And they are just the perfect consistency. I did add a little bit of water to them um, just for some areas so that I can get a little bit more organic look to this project so that, you know, when I add it to the page, I can add a little bit more water to it and then kind of move the page around so that the color will kind of go where it wants to. As you could see here, and I love watching the color go in between all of the texture from the stencil. It's so cool to me. All right, so I am going to finish up adding the black acrylic paint to this page, and now I am going to go in again with a little bit more Manor Blue impasto paint, and I am kind of globbing it on areas where I feel like I want a little bit more color. And then as you see here, I take the water and just really water it down. This way I can get a little bit more color, and the acrylic paint doesn't react to the water after it's dry. So the black is pretty much there. There may be some areas where it kind of blends in a little bit with the blue, but that's okay. But for the most part, the black is dry, so it's not going to run off. All right, so I am adding some splatters. I watered down the impasto paint quite a bit, just adding a little bit of splatters here and there. And then I am going to add a little bit of black splatters, just adding a little bit more texture. And as you could see, where I added the masking tape, you cannot see it. And again, that's totally fine for me. Sometimes you just need to start a project, even if in the end it gets covered up. All right, so I took a sticker from Finnabair's quote pack. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it will be listed down below. It is an amazing quote, and it has a cute little picture on it, and I thought it was perfect for this page. So I added a little bit of white gesso to the edges, and now I'm going to add a little bit of stamping. I'm using a little Finnabair stamp with some gray archival ink. The archival ink will not bleed. It is waterproof. That's why I'm using it, because at this point I didn't know for sure if I was done adding any color. I was pretty much sure I was done, but I wanted to make sure, so that's why I'm using archival ink. And the gray is just very subtle. I didn't want it to be black or very dark stamping. All right, so I added the quote to the page, and I am now adding some white splatters. I love adding white splatters, and I did take a paper towel with some gesso and kind of blotch it on the center where most of that white space is, just to kind of tone down a little bit of the splatters that I had added. Um, I really enjoy, white space, so I really wanted it to be a little bit more toned down. All right, so I am just going to continue to add the splatters, and this is watered down white gesso. I love adding splatters with this because you could see maybe it kind of like, I don't know. The only word that comes to mind is splatter, obviously, because that's what I'm doing. It makes lines and big globs and little dots, and it's just really nice texture to a page. All right, that is going to complete this art journal page. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you are new to my channel or Finnabear's channel, I hope you subscribe and hit that bell so you're notified every time that we upload a video or I upload a video on my channel. And don't forget to leave me a comment down below. And I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you guys later. Bye.